Hi, so welcome to Power Circuit. We are back in our newsroom, the new newsroom which we love to flaunt at CNN News 18, and me and Pallavi are back here. And today we thought that before talking about politics, let's talk about some feel-good things which are happening. The feel-good thing number one, Chandrayaan will hopefully land on the moon on the south pole region of the moon tomorrow. We have a chess final going on, and we are hoping that our new prodigy wins the chess final. And
And fingers
also,
crossed for both of it.
fingers crossed for both these events, and both these events, either of these events, both these events are big. If they are successful, it's a huge moment for the country, a moment of glory for the country. And Pallavi, of course, the BRICS summit where the prime minister
And
is.
both of these are going to happen while the prime minister is abroad. And
Yes.
you've written about it also. Uh, it's going to happen when he's also going to be addressing the Indian diaspora.
Yeah, that is
But
expected.
Aman, whenever he addresses the Indian diaspora, he of course calls them ambassadors or a slice of India abroad. But he also showcases India as a country which has achieved so much. So if these two things, God willing, happens, it will be balle balle moment.
Absolutely, I think it's a
Punjabi
it's
word.
and it is also, I think, something, Pallavi, that it's a moment of euphoria for the country because no other country has been able to land on the South Pole region of the moon so far. Russia tried it. Russia, in fact, started its mission, and but its spacecraft, the Luna, crashed on the surface of the moon. Maybe it was rushed, and they wanted to beat India by 2 days, but before India could reach, they wanted to land on the 21st. But still, I think now all eyes are on India because the Russia couldn't succeed, and Russia tried that after almost 4 decades, but couldn't succeed. And now all eyes, and India, I think, also has learned its lessons from the last time when we were not successful with Chandrayaan-2, and Chandrayaan-1 was in fact the one which first helped global agencies like NASA look at the prospect of finding water near the South Pole region of the moon. So in a way, Chandrayaan-3 is very, very crucial, not just for India, also for lessons for the rest of the world. That is there water on the moon? Is that the larger dream of mankind, that is moon habitable at some stage? So I think that those answers, Chandrayaan-3 could bring, and of course, if it lands there, I think the whole country will be up in euphoria. But Pallavi also,
And also, if I may button, moon holds a very romantic
yeah,
thing as for us Indians. The childhood. Were you told those Chanda Mama
yeah, yeah,
and all those stories and songs? And we have what is it? Karwa Chauth.
yeah.
That also revolves around the moon. So moon holds a very romantic kind of a symbol for us also. And of course, in this case, huge thumbs up to our side. So the government
Absolutely.
is giving them a lot of credit on this.
Absolutely. And I think that is why I think it's a good sign that the ministers are not speaking yet. And
Yes.
everybody is silent. People actually want to nobody wants to also jinx it, by speaking too much about it. So once the landing, hopefully, and everybody is, in fact, Pallavi in the government, very confident that this is going to happen this time. That adequate precautions have been taken, and this is going to happen this time. So when the at 6 o'clock, we'll find out tomorrow what actually happens. But I think the ministers keeping quiet, letting the scientists rightfully take the credit for this, who have worked very, very hard on it. ISRO has really burnt the midnight oil for the last 3 years after the earlier, the unsuccessful attempt.
Disappointment, yeah.
This one, I think it will the PM who will obviously speak the first if the mission is successful. Tomorrow, I think his diaspora event in Johannesburg is post the Chandrayaan landing. So we could hear from the Prime Minister also, and I think it will be a major thing happening for India. And also speaking about the BRICS summit, Pallavi, the PM going for the BRICS summit after that is also going to Greece. So also, I think larger picture coming from the BRICS summit also. Will the BRICS be expanded? Will India and China have a meeting? So all tying up in a way also for a proud moment for India, as it
And
were.
all of this is leading up to a G20 summit, which is going to take place in Delhi. I mean, it's 9th and 10th, right? So
Ninth
that's
and 10th.
also, I think, and you wrote this piece about the fact that how India, and in fact, the Prime Minister stresses on going to those areas where Indian Prime Minister has not either gone in a long, long time or he has not even gone there. And I remember there was this joke goes around that at the end of the day, he's like a true Gujarati. He just wants to finish up as many areas as he can, and also to make the point that every country is important for us.
Absolutely. So, if you see Greece, if you see Denmark, if you see Papua New
Papua Guinea,
Guinea,
yeah.
Greece, no Indian PM has gone for the last 40 years. Denmark, nobody went for 20 years. Papua New Guinea, nobody had ever gone. So I think these are the examples. I think the thinking in the Prime Minister's office and in the Prime Minister himself is very pretty clear. I think that some bilateral relationships need to be nurtured, And if they have not been of the kind that we had wanted for many years, they need to be revived, in a way. So I think that is what is essential. And Greece, of course, has been a big votary for India to be included in the permanent seat on the UN Security Council. So obviously, people who are countries which are our allies in a way, in some strategic manners, the prime minister's visit there also gives a lot of heft, and the country also appreciates it. Obviously, Modi is now not just, I would say, India's leader, also among the top world leaders, popular leader.
And India is no longer considered to be a backward or underdeveloping or third world. Those adjectives don't fit us anymore.
Exactly, absolutely. And I think that for our countries also, it's a moment of pride if Mr. Modi is visiting them. So we've seen that in earlier visits, even in highly developed countries like US and UK. When Modi's visits have happened there, we saw what Joe Biden said about Prime Minister Modi, that I want your autograph, or be it Rishi Sunak, or and now all these leaders are expected, as Pallavi said, next month for the Leader Summit of G20 in Delhi also, which will be a big diplomatic successful event for India. And G20 has been a example. We have held over 200 meetings, will be held in close to 60 cities of India. It's not just a Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai event anymore. We have taken to tier 2 cities as well. So overall, I think also, Pallavi, I would like to touch upon, get your views on that what PM spoke yesterday also, they're painting this thing that India is getting into a prosperous kind of a phase. India is prospering, the middle class is rising, 13 crore people out of poverty, cited the two reports of Niti Aayog and of the SBI. So also, I think the PM trying to project that is a positive mindset in the country, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think the timing becomes very significant, really, Aman, because it's coming very close to the elections, and every time the India front particularly has been making the point that there's a economic dismal situation, people are not getting jobs, everything is so expensive. So given such a time, don't you think these reports actually are going to helping in the BJP and the government to make that point that it's absolutely an unfair criticism that you're making?
That is what I think the PM is trying to do. He's mentioned, I think, the Niti Aayog report now, I think thrice. He mentioned that from the Red Fort. He mentioned that yesterday. He's mentioned that earlier as well, and added to the SBI report as well. Saying that, not just are the poor coming out of the net of, the poor rising out of poverty and coming to the maybe the lower middle class, and the lower middle class is also rising and going into the upper middle class. Both these things I think are very significant, and these are also probably the poor and the middle class are also the strong votaries of the BJP.
And they are the ones who are being also targeted now increasingly, interestingly also by the Congress party, because the upcoming state elections which are coming up are largely BJP versus Congress.
Absolutely. So it is also that because these, I think, Pallavi, this population, the poor as well as the lower middle class, I would say, has been a strong votary of the BJP. They played a big role in Modi coming to power in 2014, 2019. Obviously, the poor played an even bigger role because schemes like, Ujjwala and PM Awas, had their benefits, and people saw getting these benefits from the government. I think now I think the PM is targeting the aspirational Indians.
And even as we are speaking, we just got news that the Prime Minister just landed in Johannesburg.
So PM is there, and today is only, I think, the retreat and the main business end of BRICS summit begins tomorrow. But I think the larger picture, Pallavi, and when we speak of the India alliance, on the other hand, which is obviously going to have its big meeting now in Mumbai late towards the end of this month. But I think the India alliance is a bit struggling to get their narrative in order. AAP is fighting with Congress in Punjab and Delhi.
If you are a voter, won't you be confused? I mean, Alka Lamba makes a comment, she's immediately pulled up. Then you have Arvind Kejriwal going to Raipur, then he's going to Bhopal, then you have a Pawan Khera attacking Arvind Kejriwal, then you're seeing what happening in West Bengal. It's and it's going to get worse. When the ticket distribution begins, it really gets worse. Talking about ticket distribution, the BJP has taken the head start. They've already announced the tickets for Chhattisgarh.
They have started earlier this time. No, I think learning lesson from Karnataka and don't delay our tickets. So I think we would recap what a senior BJP leader told me recently about the India alliance also, that नेताओं के alliance बनाने से कुछ नहीं होगा जब तक कार्यकर्ताओं का alliance नहीं बनेगा. So नेताओं can make their alliance sitting in their AC rooms or wherever and do these big meetings. जब तक कार्यकर्ता का alliance नहीं होगा नीचे between AAP and TMC, and will the workers sink their differences of years and decades of fighting each other and work like a unit on the ground? That is the real challenge, I think, and that will, as Pallavi is correctly saying, that will show once the seat distribution is done. Well, let's not get too much ahead of ourselves, and I think what is the euphoria of the Chandrayaan landing tomorrow, we all hope that Chandrayaan lands and the country is made proud by that. Thank you so much. We'll join you again soon after, and hopefully after we get the happy news that the Chandrayaan has landed on the South Pole region of the moon. Thank you so much for joining us on Pass Circuit.